I believe we can carry forward this work of developing understanding agreements together that ensure our mutual security. But that's contingent on Russia stopping its aggression toward Ukraine. So that's the choice that Russia faces now. It can choose the path of diplomacy that can lead to peace and security, or the path that will lead only to conflict, severe consequences, and
Well, Ryan Chilcote is a journalist and political analyst. He joins me live now from London. Ryan, welcome to the programme. No breakthrough then, perhaps no surprise there, but both sides have made a commitment to keep talking. Do you sense progress is being made, or are they merely kicking the can down the road?
Oh, I don't know. I don't understand what Russia expects to achieve with these negotiations. And so it's difficult for me to understand what they could have agreed on and where this goes from here, other than just more talks and more, I don't know, simulation of tension as opposed to actual tension.
I mean, the two sides seem so far apart, don't they, with their red lines on both sides, and with so many troops on the border of Ukraine, it's hard to see how Russia can withdraw those troops without losing face. I mean, can you see any way in which an agreement could be reached?
Look, I don't think Vladimir Putin is particularly concerned about losing face here. What we would imagine sort of amounts to losing face is not what he would see as losing face. If he's already winning in the sense that everyone's talking about Russia all of the time. The United States is clearly concerned about this issue. The United States apparently has some extraordinary intelligence, which led the president of the United States earlier this week to say, yeah, an invasion is going to happen, right? And so in that sense, Vladimir Putin is already winning. And this doesn't have to end in a week or a month. This could go on for years. Remember, those troops are on Russia's side of the border, the 100,000. And Vladimir Putin can continue to amass them within his own borders every year for the next decade without any trouble, whether they're in Belarus, which is an allied country. Because literally, I think any small gains he achieves, and like I said, he's already made some because everyone's paying attention, is an achievement he probably wouldn't have had if he hadn't done this. So there you go.
And what do you feel about the personal relationship between Lavrov and Antony Blinken? It seemed affable enough in Geneva earlier today, although it's notable there hasn't been a joint press conference, so perhaps they're not that close. I mean, do you see the two men having some form of mutual understanding, and therefore that may lead to some form of agreement?
The reality is neither of them really matter. Lavrov has in discussions with people described himself as not only Putin's top diplomat, but also his middle finger. That's what he's doing in these meetings, right? He's transmitting or telegraphing the Russian president's threats and annoyance and offers for some kind of compromise or deal. Sergey Lavrov himself, career diplomat, very obviously skilled. How he feels about Antony Blinken is kind of irrelevant, and quite frankly, what Antony Blinken thinks about Lavrov it just doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what Vladimir Putin is trying to do through his proxies, through the foreign minister Lavrov, is to send this message, but. Yeah, whether these guys make small talk, which I'm sure they're capable of when Lavrov isn't trying to project this "we're really upset" image, it just doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's kind of what Vladimir Putin wants to do. That's what's going to happen.
And finally, I wonder what you think about the fact that it's all happening on European soil, although once again it is the United States who are leading the negotiations and leading the talks. I wonder what your assessment is of what Europe's role is in all of this.
Yeah, Europe doesn't really have much of a role, which is, I guess, sad, right? The EU, as far as Russia is concerned, doesn't really count. Germany kind of counts. The EU, not so much. France, a little bit. The UK, a little bit less than Germany. So Germany, France, Germany, UK, France, EU, kind of not really a meaningful entity. This is really about the United States and Russia. And, it's not really about Ukraine even. Ukraine's a big part of it, but, the Russians are also demanding that NATO pull back its forces to where they were in 1997 in Europe. So this is really about the Russians saying, hey, you weren't a very gracious winner of the Cold War. We want to rewind the clock, and you're going to do it now. And the reason for that is because Vladimir Putin thinks that President Biden has no appetite for, military adventures in Europe. And so he thinks he might be able to score some quick points here.
Well, we'll watch it very carefully, as I'm sure you will indeed as well. Ryan Chilcote, thanks for joining us.